Sometimes you don't find inspiration, sometimes it finds you, usually when you're not even looking, and on rare occasions, even when you're actively trying to avoid it. For me, it was in the middle of a burnout spiral and an emotional low I found myself in high school. Nothing felt exciting, school sucked for multiple reasons. Life was loud when I honestly wanted it just to be quiet, and everything felt, well, gray. I wasn't into rock music, I didn't hate it, but I just didn't get it. And that might just be because of how I grew up. Most of my music growing up was rap, gospel, or like radio Disney music. And when I was younger, when I used to think about rock music, I normally associated with screamo, like everything was screamo, there was no in between. Or just background noise, something to put on during a fight scene, or something in that vein. Nothing I really cared about that much. But then all it took was one day. Just one good day of me sitting in my high school library, avoiding my friends for reasons that aren't really important to the story, but that to say, I was just scrolling through YouTube because during this time I just got into my anime phase, so I was just binging a bunch of anime shows. So like anyone who's into a new medium or fandom, you're diving deep into the subculture and everything around it, and I was getting really interested in anime music. I'm talking about Bumper Chicken, Flow, Spy Air, Lisa. If it sounded like it could be an anime opening, I was putting it in my ears. That sounds kind of crazy, but you get what I mean. So there I am, in the library just listening to anime music at the time, and while letting shuffle play at randoms, I hear this one song. It's a weird dub of an anime I've never seen before, and I was gonna skip it, but then this awkward singing starts. It's soft, as if somebody's whispering in my ears. And the lyrics are weird, like I can't explain it, but it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me at the moment. So I look at the name of the song, and it's called Moon on the Water. And after a few minutes, something just kind of breaks in me. The moment this song becomes a duet, my chest starts to hurt. And all these emotions I've been bottling up for apparently the entire semester start slowly bubbling up to the surface. And these emotions do not care where I am currently when I start feeling all of this at once. Right there between the rows of dusty books, sticky keyboards, and other kids playing on their phones, I'm breaking down. And it's not even over something crazy, it's over this melodic rock ballad from an anime that I've never heard of before this YouTube doom scroll I just been going through. And it's incredible. That anime was Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad. And somehow this show, a show about 5 weirdos starting a rock band, pulled me out of a hole I didn't even want to acknowledge I was in. It didn't just make me like rock music, it made me feel like the gray I have been going through for the last probably few months wasn't the end all be all I thought it was. And while it wasn't right away, I started smiling again from this. This isn't a video just about an anime, it's a story about how the right song at the right time can change your whole damn perspective, and how inspiration can happen to anyone at any moment, even if that inspiration is coming from an anime show about a band named after a dog that looks like a Frankenstein reject. So I'm Remy, and I just want to know if anyone's checked on Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad, and if not, let's, because I was made to hit in America, man. Like, come on, baby. Beck doesn't waste your time giving us a typical anime band story. They don't even start as a full band. We start off with Koyuki. He's just a quiet kid drifting through life, but then he meets Ryusuke, and this man's entire world gets flipped on its head. Ryusuke is a guitar guy, walking enigma, and the kind of dude that owns a guitar with multiple bullet holes in it. These two meeting would eventually be the catalyst for Koyuki to join Beck, and this whole thing would snowball into something that would change his life forever. The band's evolution mirrors real garage bands, messy, full of egos, but full of heart. As time goes on, the sound matures, gets grungier, sharper, and even more layered. The name Beck is named after their dog, their weird Frankenweenie dog, but I love that weird thing. I don't get it, but I love it. With that evolution and growth in music, you gotta wonder what kind of music do they play? Well, think of a mashup between Red Hot Chili Peppers' funk, Nirvana's angst, Rage Against the Machine's fire, and a little bit of Japanese soul. That's what you get. The creator, Harold Sakushi, clearly knew their rock history. For example, Chiba is based off of Zach De La Rocha, the lead singer of Rage Against the Machine, which is just really cool. And you can find cool Easter eggs and nods to actual rock bands all throughout Beck, which is very interesting. That to say, the characters have personalities which sometimes can be even louder than the music. Speaking of said music, you hear all kinds of music throughout Beck. You hear punk, you hear blues, you hear indie, you hear grunge. It's a melting pot of music, and it really works. So let's talk about the actual music, the soundtrack. And it's so good. It's so dumb good. Beat Crusaders kills the soundtrack. Hit in the USA. Hit in the USA, brother. Brother. That is one of the best openings in all of anime. Oh my gosh. And the visuals that go with the song are insane. Each shot has this we're on a tour bus kind of feel, going from show to show on tour, seeing cool signs along the highway, stopping at diners, avoiding tourist traps. And when they get to the first I was made to hit in America and the band lip syncs with the lyrics, I'm geeking, bro. I'm geeking every time. And this show is more than just really cool pop, rock, grunge music. There's also really slow melodic songs like I mentioned earlier, like Moon on the Water. A song that makes you feel like you're 16 again, writing poetry about someone who's never texted you back in a sense. The raw emotions and vulnerabilities that can be heard throughout this song are incredible. And when I'm talking about this, I'm mostly talking about the dub version. While I have heard the Japanese version, for me personally, I prefer the dub. Maybe it's because I heard it first, but I genuinely think it's because I think it conveys the message and the lyrics a bit better than the Japanese version. While it's not bad per se, it just doesn't resonate as much to me as the English one, mostly because they're native English speakers compared to Japanese speakers doing their best to sing in English while sounding a bit jarring to myself personally. If you like the Japanese version, go for it, more power to you. I just prefer the English dub. For me, Greg and Brina knocked this song out of the park. All of to say, the original pieces aren't just catchy, they're there to carry scenes. Kyuki's growth literally is told through songs. And yeah, there were covers, some licensed, some changed in the dub, and some were lost to the void of legal issues because there's a lot of licensing in this. It's one of the reasons why Beck is so hard to find nowadays, but that's neither here nor there. These songs and their presence matters because when Beck covers a classic track, it's not about flexing, it's about showing where they came from. Live performances in the show aren't just background noises. They're cinematic, electric, and often more emotional than words. You feel the crowds, the stakes, the fear, the high. The music itself becomes a character. And by the end of the set, it always feels like no one's the exact same from when the set started, which is so interesting. Also, back on the top of Beat Crusaders, they made the intro of Cap and Mikey, so that's really cool. Okay, so let's break down the band now. We gotta start off with Kyuki, the main character. He starts off as a blank slate, shy, bullied, and has no idea what he is or what he wants. But it only takes one thing to light that fire under him, and that's music. And he uses that music as his weapon. His way is screaming into the void. And you got Ryusuke, who is mysterious and is chaos at the same time. A guitar genius with baggage, some of which is international. He also definitely has illegal activities, which definitely comes up later in the manga. Not as much in the anime, but definitely comes back up later in the manga. Just saying. That man is too active for his age. Somehow he's an early 2000 YN. Anyway, Tyra is the glue, the bassist, the stoic one, the actual adult of the group and in the room most of the time. Then we have Saku, the nicest person I think in all of Beck, like the actual group and maybe even the anime. Loyal to a fault, he's Kyuki's ride or die throughout the entire show. You have Chiba, is rage on vocals, aggressive, loud, and honest to a fault. Then lastly we have Maho. While technically not in the band, she's probably the most important person there. Her presence pulls Kyuki out of his shell and into new insecurities, but you know, he gets out of his shell bare minimum. Each member brings a different philosophy to music and life, and because of this they clash, like a lot. But then there are those rare moments where they're in sync. That's the magic. You hear it, you see it, you feel it, and that's the story Beck's telling. It's not about being the best, it's about learning who you are when no one's clapping. So who are you when no one's clapping? This is where Beck becomes more than a band story. It's a coming of age epic in a sense. Wearing Converse. This show is obsessed with dreams, with chasing something impossible. And it tells you up front, it's gonna hurt. Beck doesn't sugarcoat failure. They get booed, sabotaged, replaced, but they get back up. The core message is simple but powerful. Your dream only dies if you do. Using a Beck isn't just an art form, it's a weapon, a love letter, a rebellion. It makes people cry, fight, fall in love, remember who they are. Kyuki learns that being heard is the scariest and most important thing you can do. But once he finds his voice, he never lets it go. Ryusuke, he has talent, but he also has a lot of ghosts, like a lot. And Kyuki, on the other hand, has all heart and all grind. It's this balance that powers Beck. And if you ever try to create anything real, you'll see yourself in this story. This series hits on identity, artistry, and belonging. And it doesn't hold your hand. Actually, it pushes you to center stage, hands you a mic and a beat-up bass guitar, and tells you to play like your life is on the line. Because it doesn't matter if the crowd cares. It doesn't matter if you're good. It doesn't matter if you fall on your face. What really matters is if you try. Because if you're too scared to try, why even go on the stage? That is one of the core messages in Beck, is like you need to try, get inspired and try something new. That's sort of what this video is about, and sort of what Beck's about, sort of, but I really want to focus more on the feeling it gives you, that fire it lights, that spark of inspiration that could come at any moment. That is what Beck drives home for people, for me, and hopefully for you watching this video. And if you haven't seen Beck, go watch it after this, and then come back and tell me you loved it. It's amazing. Okay, enough praising aside, I'm gonna be honest here. Some of it Beck ain't great, and by that I mean like the extra materials like the live action movie. So yeah, there's a live action, and it wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't Beck. It made some bold choices. It became oddly enough sort of polished to some extent. Like Beck as a whole lost its edge, its grunge, and became Beck 2.0 or Beck Light, or something at least to me. And that could be good or bad depending on who you ask, but where the live action really shows its strength is in its casting. All the cast looked genuinely pretty solid. The vibe was close, but once again, the soul felt kinda muted. The adaptation struggles with the same curse that haunts most music-based media. Translating sound into cinema is hard, and when you can't use the original song, you lose the heart. Fans were mixed on it. Strangely enough, critics were actually pretty kind to this movie. It even won an award in Japan. So take that as you will. If you want more Beck because the anime had you craving for more, you got more. It's different, like really different, but at its core, it's Beck. Well, adjacent. Now for the true believers, the one that want that good stuff, that pure stuff, that stuff straight from the source. Man, this sounds like I'm talking about a drug. The manga is what you want. Let's not forget, Beck was a manga first. The author put real sweat into every panel. The art was gritty, expressive, sometimes wild, but always feeling raw. The manga fleshes out arcs that the anime had to skip. A bunch of side characters you never even seen are in the manga. But not to mention, you get more time with Chiba, which is always a dub in my opinion. That is the homie right there. A deeper look into Ryusuke's past, which includes crime, lots of crime, and so much crime, and even deeper so much crime, dog, and even more awkward teenage romance. That to say, it definitely goes in some directions that definitely make you feel like, man, if this was real, none of these people should be here, because I would have quit this band the moment a gun was pulled on me. It was nah, that's me though. That's me. I ain't built like that. But joking aside, if you love the anime, the manga gives you the full tour, good and bad. With all this praise I'm giving you, do you think Beck should be one of the most renowned anime of all time, like K-On! Or Your Lie in April? But why isn't it? Simple, because it's trapped. Licensing issues, regional restrictions, and that awkward era where anime was always never preserved properly. That to say, I still think Beck left a legacy, even if it isn't the most talked about or renowned anime of all time. I like to think Beck inspired a bunch of modern music anime like Carol and Tuesday, and so on and so forth. And that's a legacy I like to think Beck left for a lot of musical anime. They could be messy, raw, real, because stuff like Beck came before it. Now that that's out the way, let's talk about some merch. Look, it's not hard to guess I'm a big fan of the OST and that they have rock music and whatever towards that. What's really interesting is that Beck has a video game. Why? Who knows? Who cares? But the fact is, this video game doesn't have some Guitar Hero controller contraption. I'm sorry. It just needs something. The technology is there. Obviously, I think this came out before Guitar Hero. And if I'm wrong, I'll put it here. But just like, oh man, that seems like such an easy dub. And they just ignored it. Or maybe it wasn't around yet. I don't know. I'll put it here. Continuing. I'm sad. And while the game wasn't the only merch they also had DVDs, which are pretty much the only way to watch Beck nowadays. So if you want to go to Amazon and copy a DVD for Beck, they're around like, I think $20, which all things considered isn't really bad for an entire anime series. And you can find the manga, but that one's hard. I have been looking for that manga for a minute. It is hard to find copies of the Beck manga that aren't horrible or okay condition. Like there's no Takoban, I believe, for Beck. If there is one, let me know in the comments. I'd love to be wrong about that. I'll insert something here that's funny. I couldn't think of anything. Regardless, send me a link. Bro, come on now. But all things said and done, that's Beck. Beck is more than just a rock anime. It's a reminder that sometimes the things that light that fire in you won't look how you expect. It might not come from a big speech. It might not come from your favorite artist or a lifelong dream. It might sneak up on you in the quiet, like a soft song in a library. But then, when that spark gets lit, that one moment, something clicks inside of you, and then suddenly you want to do more. Not just consume the world, but respond to it, to speak back, to show up. That spark doesn't care how good you are at something. It doesn't care how long you've waited. It doesn't care if you're scared out of your mind. It just wants you to move, to draw, to write, to sing, to dance, to design, to do something, anything that gets your voice, your art, your soul out in the open. Because hiding it doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you quiet. And we don't need more quiet. We need you. Even if you trip, even if you fumble through the chords, even if no one claps when you're done with your set and you step off stage, you showed up. And that means everything. Because inspiration doesn't wait. Because it doesn't wait for you to be perfect. It doesn't wait for the timing to be right. And it doesn't wait for the stars to align. It happens when it happens. And it doesn't knock twice. So if you don't feed that flame, it goes out. But when you do, if you let that spark burn, let it grow, let it rage, it becomes something unstoppable. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. So whatever it is that's pulling at you to do something, pick it up, try it, mess up, and keep going. Because the world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to do something. And you never know, someone watching you do that something on the stage where no one else is clapping could inspire them to do something also. So on that note, should Beck Mongolian Chop Squad come back? Yeah, why not? It's got a lot more story to tell. And while the emotions I felt during my first viewing have changed just due to time, the story deserves to be told in its totality, be it good or bad. So I just want more Beck fans out there, because inspiration is something everyone should feel at least once. So I'm Remy. Thanks for letting me check on Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. I will see you in the next one, because I was made to hit in America. I can't do this drum part because I don't have the guitar by me, but imagine it's playing here. Duh. Alright, whatever. Later, guys.